Welcome to another episode of the State of the Bulldogs post-game podcast. No Tay this week, but we got Michael subbing in. Boys, another L. This one didn't feel as bad at first because we saw glimpses of what could have been a SoCon championship football team for the first quarter and a half, but my, oh my, did the wheels fall off the wagon? Grant, Mike, let's just start it off. The good, the bad, and there's plenty of ugly. Mike, let's start off with the good.
I'm going to jog my memory because it was the first quarter alone. That was probably the only quarter that was anything good.
Yeah, about the first 20 minutes.
Big plays in the first quarter on offense. I'd say it was great to see Quincy hitting some deep balls and just carving up the defense for 15 minutes before, like you said, things got derailed. So I'll say Quincy.
So good.
Quincy in the first quarter.
Good. Yeah. Grant.
Yeah, I was going to lean into that offense too. You're moving the ball well. You're getting guys involved that hadn't had a catch. Literally, Ray Vincent had 2 catches for 93 yards, had the long 89-yard TD run where he caught it 15 yards down and basically outran the entire ETSU defense for that to be your first catch as a Samford wide receiver is pretty sick. But yeah, I was leaning towards that first quarter offense too, where they're moving the ball and mixing in the run with the pass really well.
I was shocked. Were y'all shocked that he was able to run away from the whole defense like that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, why aren't we getting this guy the ball more?
A white boy can move. That's what that is.
He was a kick returner at Ole Miss, right?
Yeah.
Kick punt return.
Yeah, a little bit of that, yeah.
Got to be fast if you can do that for Lane Kiffin.
Yeah, showed it off there, yeah.
Yeah, but Mike, you hit it on the head. That was easily the best thing, was watching the offense roll in that first quarter. I mean, Quincy was slicing, dicing, scrambling for 8 yards, converting first downs. We still couldn't really run the ball. That didn't really change the entire game, but it didn't matter because we were just hitting on everything.
Clean pocket every time.
So we have not bragged about the offensive line. They gave some beautiful pockets for those first 20 minutes. Obviously, we gave up so many sacks, so something deteriorated as the game went on. But for the first part, boys, we had a legitimate, good-looking football team. And, somehow, some way, we figured out ways to lose this game. So let's get to the bad. Grant, kick it off.
Bad. You just talked about it. Kind of lean into it. The offensive line kind of basically cratering the rest of the game. Some holdings, some missed blocks, some miscommunications. Like there, at the end of the first half, you were gifted an interception when King basically threw the ball to you. You caught it. You gained first down. Second down, you have miscommunication where you got 5 guys hat on the line, and the right tackle misses a block, and Quincy gets sacked, which leads to a short play on third down. Then you miss a 28-yard field goal. Good Lord, give me somebody else back there kicking the football. But still, you got that. So I think I'll just stick with the offensive line. Going back, watching the game, they gave up 7 sacks, 2 hurries, and then as a team, ETSU had 16 total TFLs.
That ain't going to get it done. Mike?
I'd say offensively, our lack of ability to create sustained drives. I think, the first touchdown, 85-yard or 89-yard pass, we had the one turnover on downs when ETSU went for the fake punt and dropped that ball. I think we scored on that drive. Otherwise, a lot of 3-and-outs. Weren't really possessing the ball for more than like a minute. Just tough to see that. So outside the big plays and the drives where we did score, we really didn't move the ball at all.
That's a good point, Mike.
Yeah, Samford's second half drive, just going through real quick, they punt, touchdown off the short field, and then to end the game, punt, 4 straight 3-and-outs. So punt, and then, another 3-and-out, a 3-yard punt, and then you turn it over on downs at the end of the game because you got sacked on third down, which led to a 4th and 17. So those were your second half drives for Samford.
It is incredible to win. We didn't commit a single turnover, and we forced 4.
4,
and
you're plus 4.
We didn't score a single point. We didn't score a single point off of any of those turnovers, even when we intercepted it on the 28-yard line or 25-yard line.
Yeah.
You couldn't make some of this stuff up. But Mike, to your point, you know how you lose a game where you force 4 turnovers? You don't have a drive over 3 minutes or 4 minutes. We couldn't run the ball. So
over 4 plays.
We had explosive plays. We scored plenty of points. 28 points was more than enough to beat this ETSU team. And yet we couldn't find anything to kill the clock. We tried doing the 2-minute, 4-minute offense with 9.5 minutes to go in the game. And yet when we got the ball again with 4 minutes to go, we threw it twice and we're fortunate to complete one of the passes, or we threw it 3 times. We're fortunate to complete one of the passes to keep the clock running. But it was just a very odd last quarter. Probably one of the weirdest quarters I've seen because it was a slow bleed as ETSU came back. And they never really – that was the thing. We had so many opportunities to pull away, and the team just never pulled away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And a lot of that, I'm surprised neither one of you – maybe this is the ugly. Let's get to the ugly. Mike.
Just one thing? Gosh, I don't – okay. This is probably a point for the end of this episode, but
sure.
Did y'all question the fact that Hatcher didn't call a timeout at the very end of the game when we would have had a chance to get the ball back with a few seconds left? Or am I just doing the math really wrong?
I turned it off, Mike. When we got sacked on 4, I turned it off. I didn't know we had an opportunity to get the ball back.
Pretty sure we ended the game with one timeout left in our pocket. ETSU was
when they were kneeing it?
They were kneeing it out. It was third down. We could have called a timeout, forced them into 4th down with the clock stopped back in their territory. They would have had to punt the ball. We would have gotten the ball back for like 20 seconds, I think.
No, because we had 2 timeouts when they took possession. With a minute
we
left.
took one timeout. We let the clock run on 2nd down. Could have called a timeout on 3rd down, on their 3rd down knee to force 4th down. Would have been like 20 seconds left when they punt the ball to us.
I didn't want to know that. I turned it off when they started kneeing the ball.
I wanted to ask you guys because I'm not that smart. I don't really more of a basketball guy than a football guy, but I was trying to do the math there. And I think we would have had a chance to get the ball back. So did we just throw in the white flag?
Yeah, I need to go back and look at that. Now that you bring that up.
If we're talking about decision making, that was not. If that's true, Mike, that's bad. It's not as bad as not going for it on 4th down two different times. One time, it was 4th and 3. We were on the opponent side of the field, close to the 50, like around the 40. And it was 4th and 3, and it was the last time that our offense was clicking, right? And we decided to punt. That was probably the best looking drive we'd had the entire game. It was the 3-minute, 36-second, 7-play, 37-yard drive. And we punted it on the 45-yard line. Okay. It was 4th and 3. They had stopped us for like a 1-yard gain just one time the play before. We were going to get that 1st down.
Yeah.
And then it ended up being like a 10-yard punt. So it didn't even matter. The second time was when we're playing all the games with the clock at the end of the first half when we missed the 28-yard field goal and we had intercepted it. We didn't go for it on 4th and 2. We should have gone for it. A field goal was not going to win this game. We needed one more touchdown. If we got into the 30s, there was no way ETSU's offense. Now, granted, our defense was doing everything they could to keep them in the game.
Yeah.
But there was no way we would have lost. 2 4th down decisions, 1 field goal, 1 punt, both terrible. And that was the difference. All right, Grant, ugly.
Yeah, I can see the other side kicking it 4th and 2. You're up 7 to make it a 2-score game. You obviously missed the 28-yarder, but still, you can go back and forth.
2 for 6.
Well, that was going to be my ugly. I brought it up last week. I'm sure he's a good kid. I'm sure he's a great guy on campus. I'm sure he's got a high GPA. I'm sure everybody loves him. Well, everybody on his team loves him. I'm sure they do. But is there nobody else that can kick the football? Is there not one kicker on the team? There's 25 kickers. Ethan Fisher, a freshman, put him out there. I trust him to make a kick more than anybody else. I know that Beaverstock kicked the ball out of bounds, which was tough in the second half. You obviously can't do that, and they kicked it out. Kicked it out of bounds like the 15. But you can't miss a 28-yard field goal on the road. Forrest Taylor's 2 of 6 on the year. He's one of His longest is 31 yards. He missed one from 40 to 49 yards, which is fine. But as a kicker, if you're 1 for 4 from 20 to 29 yards, there has to be somebody else that can take that spot. I can make a 28-yard field goal to give Samford at that 10-point lead. Because, of course, they lose by 3 and you miss a 28-yarder at the end of the first half after you're gifted an interception by ETSU. There has to be somebody else.
I'm surprised Jimbo Fisher hasn't sponsored a Pat McAfee style kicking contest. And even if it's 50,000 that goes to his son, I feel like we should have some kind of competition out there.
Go recruit the kids from Saturday. That guy crushed it.
Yeah,
crushed the second attempt.
Yes,
what a hit from 50.
He totally played Pat. He knew the second attempt doubles the money.
Double down.
He totally played him. Guys, I'm shocked neither one of y'all said take your pick, secondary or D-line. Going into this game, we said if we make ETSU one-dimensional and that dimension's passing, we're probably going to we have never said probably going to win this game since West Georgia. But
look how that turned out.
That would have given us a very good opportunity to win this game. And yet, ETSU had it on the ground. They had it on the air. Guys, the stat of the day is the fact that they complete their average completed pass was 19 yards. 19 yards. They outgained us total by over 140. You give up an average completion of 19, and I know Yancey had a wonderful game. He got burned, but he had a pick, he had a sack, he made enough plays. We can't really throw him under the bus. We can throw them all the rest of them under the bus. Unbelievable how poorly they played. I'm surprised y'all didn't give him to that. Because, Grant, guess what? Kicker don't matter if you don't give up 31 points and almost 500 yards.
What makes that worse is
like
we still had 4 turnovers and allowed all that to happen.
Yeah, still forced forward 2 picks, 2 fumbles. Yeah.
We knew their quarterback was going to give us.
Oh, yeah, 3 picks. Yeah, the one they get. 3. Yeah, the tip ball, Yancey in the end zone, and then the one they gifted you at the end of the first half.
And we let a quarterback that got benched last week do that to us.
Yes. But we picked him 3 times. It's not.
Yeah, a guy was either open or was intercepted. There's like no in between, like semi-good coverage.
Were more inaccuracies on King than they were good defense.
I've never seen anything like it. That was one of the oddest games I think I've ever seen. It was so the difference between the first quarter and the rest of the game is just night and day. Yeah. I mean, especially the biggest difference is you watch our offensive line from the beginning of the game to the end deteriorated, fell off a cliff. You watch their offensive line from the beginning to the end of the game, they got better and better and better and better. And by the time the second half rolls around, they're blowing us off the ball on the run. So ETSU certainly deserved to win this game. They're probably sitting in there shocked that they did it with losing the turnover battle by 4. But like I said, if you don't score on those turnovers, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
And we only scored 1 time after that drive that finished in the beginning of the second. So that's a very long scoring drought and created too much opportunity to overcome. All right, boys. Offensive MVP. It does not have to be on Samford, but it can be, obviously. Grant?
I think for Samford, you got to go. I know Vincent had 2 catches at the long run, but EJ Mason showed up again. He had his best day as a Samford pass catcher a couple weeks ago. Then on Saturday, he had 5 catches for 70 yards, had a sick catch in the end zone where he basically had to readjust to a ball that was a little underthrown and fight his way through the DB, make the catch, and dive for the end zone. So I think he was my MVP for Saturday.
Mike?
Yeah, you stole my boy, but because of that, I guess I'll go with Wesley Carlock.
All right. The receivers.
Yeah, he had 2 receptions for 35 yards and touchdowns. So,
yeah,
I don't know where our big names are at, like Riaz and Brendan Jenkins especially, but typical hashtag, they're finding receivers somewhere.
Yeah.
This was the first game, Mike, where we really spread it around like that. And we tried a few of the deep balls to Jenkins, just didn't hit. We were so close on a couple. I mean, so was ETSU. For all the big ones ETSU hit, they were also very close on hitting a few more. But yeah, I think that was the fun part of this game is we were kind of the classic hash attack, seeing 6-7 receivers kind of earn their keep, which is always fun. All right, defensive MVP, Mike.
ETSU's D-line.
They were good. They were good, but also, yes, look, I think we figured out the key to getting a sack on Samford. You literally just run right by 77. Just don't let him look at you. If he doesn't look at you, you are going to sack the quarterback.
But just send one more than we have.
Even better if you stunt inside, in between the guard and tackle, and then send anyone on the outside free roam.
I mean, if you're going to have Quincy in there, and Quincy's got the ability that he does with his legs, he can't have negative 39 rushing yards.
No.
He's got to be able to scramble. And
he was snapping the ball, and there was a guy already there.
Yeah, it was bad. It was bad.
I don't know how that happens. Grant, defensive MVP.
Defensive, I'll stick with Samford. I thought, other than some like Samford defense, they either gave up the big play or they gave them nothing. So it's kind of a little bit that same thing we talked about. But defensive MVP, let's go with Jaden Mosley, leading tackler. So pretty easy. 12 toe tackles. Had a full TFL. It's just fun watching he and Noah there and that inside linebacker group make plays. So I'll go with Jaden Mosley.
Yeah, he had a great game. I mean, guys, the goal line, not goal line stand, but fourth down stop near the goal line, CJ Douglas's tackle against the wing T. Granted, it was because the two ETSU guys blocked the same guy and he just ran right through him. Yeah. That was a little silly, but he made a great play. I thought that was going to be the play of the game in the first quarter. I was like, that's a game-defining play, and it didn't end up mattering.
What's this T formation? They ran that twice at the goal line. It's how they scored their final touchdown.
They ran it once, or they ran it, 3 times. Twice on the goal line and then once on that fourth down conversion they got. And it worked.
They ran it at
times.
the goal line in the first quarter when we stopped them, but they also, I think it was their fourth quarter game-winning touchdown.
Yep. I hate it.
I had never seen that before.
I've tried it in EA college football, but that's about the extent of my knowledge of the T formation.
Yeah, I mean, I know that there were some national championships probably won at some point with that formation, but
yeah.
Cool. I mean, it is kind of cool to see Coach Lamb doing something a little old school like that. I mean, that is the ultimate lineup and just run it down their throat. It's a little more intimidating than the eye, I will say that. Way more opportunity for misdirection because you just have 3 dudes flying down you. You don't know who has the ball. Mm-hmm. So it's a fun one. All right, boys. So we're going in to the Mercer game. Top 10 team in the country. Give me one takeaway that we have in this game that we would like to implement or avoid in the upcoming match against Mercer. Grant.
Can that first quarter offense kind of sustain? I know we talked about this Mercer defense, but we'll talk about on the show later this week. But can they sustain drives like we talked about the last few weeks? Mercer at their tops in literally every defensive category when it comes to defense in the entire country. So how well does Samford react against that kind of defense, which will be the best that they have seen all year?
Yep, it's a stout defense. Mike.
Yeah, can we just play mediocre offense? We don't have to have these big shots downfield like we did in the first quarter against ETSU, but we can't have the 3 and outs and all the punts. So can we just have some long sustained drives, maybe try to play field position a little bit, just be average and see how that goes.
Mercer is very good, but their offense is not anywhere near as spectacular as their defense. So if you can put up some points, you can be competitive. No one has put up points yet. So odds are not great.
Someone's got to do it.
Yep. Any other thoughts, boys, on the ETSU game?
Yeah, I've actually got the game pulled up now, and I was looking at the play-by-play because my timeout comment.
Okay.
So it's 3rd and 14 at Samford 21. Okay. Samford has 1 timeout left. And there was...
They would have been able to get the ball back.
30 seconds left on the clock. So they kneeled it with 30 seconds left. We could have called a timeout.
Timeout, made them kick a field goal, which they would have missed.
Oh, I'm sorry. They were at their own 21.
Yeah. They missed the field goal. And then we have 2 plays to get in field goal range where we miss our game time field goal.
We blow it wide right, yeah.
But yes, Mike, that is very frustrating. Did not know that.
Yeah, we're in position to go miss another field goal.
We throw the white flag.
Just a weird one to lose, like we said, +4 turnover margin. Does not happen often.
That's not a great note to end on, Mike, but appreciate the insight there.
Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm just like missing a fact.
Well, we can look at it and we'll
go back.
We'll correct ourselves in the Mercer preview if we have to. But guys, that wraps up a lackluster game where we thought we were going to be kings of the SoCon for about 10-20 minutes there, and we ended up losers. So we will catch y'all on the Mercer preview in a couple of days. But thank you for listening, and catch you next week. Hopefully with a big top 10 upset in Homewood.